This FM 104.3. Good to meet Take.
Was terminated as his victory and acceptance speech. Now, Okoye and Watamale. Okanyoma Bibri. I'm not sure say metimi aka ni nyina. But ebia na meni eda so pa ne say having been president of this country no, we who say the size of government etimima government ka ekoso inti wa shega na fobo say kwan bia so no say yetimi esan etu aba emmanuel the size of government no obe reduce e di aba 60 ministers. Me my dream say we can do even better. I hold my view that we can do better, but that is his position as NDC flag bearer. If a PNC is asked to come and say our position, I think we can do even with 40 ministers. My view is that we can do away with regional ministers. Because regional ministers in their place, I really don't understand it. In the architecture of our decentralized system of governance. Because we have regional coordinating councils. And then you have the district assemblies. The district assemblies are the action no ewo. Regional ministers. If you are to do away with regional ministers alone, that's 16 regions gone. You should be able to reduce your numbers. I feel strongly say yebetimi combining Ministry of Information and Ministry of Communications at one ministry. I feel strongly say yebetimi efa agric ministry and the Ministry of Trade and Industry akabum. I feel strongly say yebetimi efa Ministry of Railways Development. Yebetimi efa Ministry of Transportation, Ministry of Roads. Na yedini nyina akabum na
aviation.
Na nyina abeya Ministry of Transportation. I feel strongly say yebetimi afa Ministry of Fisheries, Agriculture and Beer Livestock. Na edini nyina akabum na dane one ministry. And from where I sit and my thinking, we can reduce the number of ministries and appointees in a great deal. For instance, ubetimi the chieftaincy and culture at the tourism. There will not be any significant change. After all, ministers only give policy guidelines, and then the directors and other technocrats. And if you look at it critically, yebetimi aye na yetimi reduce the size of our government, and thereby reduce the size of expenditure.
Yete so na keke anase ujidi say yete so a ebema running of these ministries no aye effective.
Mami nchiro bibi. President Kufuor, when there was the Dagbon crisis, after removing Malik Al-Hassan, Papa Nowahin Kurampo, as Minister for Interior, made Dr. Kwame Adokufuor Minister for Interior for nearly 4 years. There was no substandard Ministry of Interior. So even that, you can have Ministry of Security. What do you say? So you can combine Ministry of Interior, Ministry of Defense, and National Security. All that can come under Ministry of Security. Now, etimi abwa, it synergizes because I also West Wagon Crampo Commission report now. It talks about the non-coordination of our security. And it says, oh yeah, no wana bako ebetimi abwa. So I think say you are just reducing, but you are also even aligning them. Say ebetimi abwa. To say my thinking is that if you do Ministry of Agric, Trade and Industry, Ghana, Agric na ye yejuma kese anyasa. Enti the basic implements yedibeye agric yedibe do form no. It has to come from Ministry of Trade
and Industry. Yeah.
And Industry. So why don't you align in such a way that we'll be able to fashion, our Greek minister will be responsible on how we can fashion out the basic implements of farming. Nase niya dono, we look at how we will sell, at the same time look at how to process into industrialization so betimi abam. You don't industrialize on where you don't have the capacity, where you have to be importing to industrialize. So the sectors that we control are the agric and agrarian sector. So we should be able to do that. And yes, align keke. You are aligning with a certain vision. In our country, which one of the sectors promotes our culture better? Is it not the chieftaincy institution? So why is chieftaincy not aligned to tourism? Because we can market the elements of our culture through our chiefs and what have you. So tourism so and you look at everything about your friends saying tourism and chieftaincy, they should be merged. And yes, we are just talking because you have to. So I believe that if President Mahama says that should the people of Ghana give him a chance, he will reduce the size of his ministers. It's possible. And I think that it can even go below the 60 ministers he's talking about. The Cardinal, Osan Kansem Ekofa, the banking sector collapse. Tiemi manka se clean up, mika se collapse. Because the initial amount of money we should use to collapse the banks was about 9 billion. We use in excess of 22 billion to collapse the banks. Next say ye boka. Eche nka ye jai banks no krampa nka betimi abwa. Oho ena minua paging Prince Kofi Amoabeng oka say no mudika 800 million. Enunti maji bank no efi omusem ya. Bank no mama na ye pasa. Muji eno efi omunsem because of 800 million. You spent 2.2 billion to destroy it. So how can the government say that udinika 800 million? Now wakofa 2.2 billion in order to collapse, you say unye jumano. So it was possible, sir, the government of Ghana could have actually written off the debt of Kofi Amoabeng and in the UT Bank and fashion it so that omubetimi ejina omunaimu. One, say omubetimi nipa na no omuye ejumano, they can keep them afloat in the jobs. Two, they will earn money to save themselves. And three, to operate to ensure that the banking sector did not suffer the kind of jolt. Another bank, a Heritage Bank. Heritage Bank, the omanye boni bia entia Ghana mra, and the Banking Act. Omanye boni bia. Because Muka say you have raised the capital requirement from 120 million to 400 million. All other conditions required for banks in this country, Heritage Bank 8 million. According to Kofi Amoabeng, Heritage Bank and their partners in Germany, no mo ba beboa onu UT Bank, say omoso omunjina. And Onu Kofi Amoabeng was shocked to see that Heritage Bank, that had met all the requirements of the Bank of Ghana, was also collapsed. Why did President Akufo-Addo, the governor of the Bank of Ghana, and the Minister for Finance, Adenti and Omukun Heritage Bank, that had met all the requirements? But there's a document. Meaning say nana konia ehu. Sa document no omo frɛ no ajapadeɛ. Sa document no say o kan document no ewia. It gives you clearly say before President Nana Akufo-Addo ebeba into power no, they had a plan. Inti say oko banking sector collapse any nneɛma nyina omo ye. It's captured in the document. Even if you say that it's not true, how come that letter by letter, word for word, never ajapadia document, no restricted document, no more.
Na eno why documenta?
Well, the author we don't know, but the content supports the argument I'm making. Mamen say ne ma now so unshare. Obetimi a read. Amami. Enti obviously, I've sent it to you. Obviously, even if you take the first chapter, na okay. How they link economic power, financial power to political power and the control now. It's evident, say, omotinasi, ena omoshishia nuyamamu, and they planned what they wanted to execute to ensure that data bank, or more, your friend is saying, or more biological son. Other banks that they will align will be their adopted children. And you see the preparations that they did. So, say President Mahama, Eka says Ghana photo Abamano. Oba, Obesa Shushim. Na banks na mweyi efim a emfa kwan so no. Obesan ama omo licenses no ma ye juma. Eno kwan no. Because this banking sector collapse was very reckless. If you want to do savings mobilization, one of the banks was the Indum's Bank, GN Bank. Se utu kwan ewo omaimu. Na oko count village by village. You will see how that man was able to ensure. Say the bank got into every community when the state could not provide financial institutions for many communities. GN Bank was able to do that. It's Sparkasse Bank of Germany that is able to penetrate into the local levels to ensure say, oh, sika kakra utimi the Kotu Bank. Na bank no so etimi apebisi amount. The bank could give a loan as low as 500 Ghana cedis. Edema obi a akwaye cocoa business. Cocoa, say onim cocoa. 500 na otimi ade akoshase na waye ne cocoa business. So akoche ne chance na wakope edua or be ye cocoa. And all bingo, the person has started business. You collapse all those things. By extension, you collapse businesses. So looking into that, I think that it was a more potent thing that, or can say ekofa corruption as and or can say nansen say tie President Akufo-Addo or can say my umbo corruption biom because corruption 8 minutes per on a corruption corruption e nefim into say anu Nana Akufo-Addo is unable to talk about corruption. So in my view, President Mahama has given what is his policy view on the nation. Near obeba beye ena near ohun say amfa kwan so a obetimi aye. Or say he will look and investigate further into the pronouncement of Professor Frimpong Boateng in his report. Say maye mfano enkotu baby. And I think that is the view of the former president. I agree to some extent. Said the banking sector cleanup was reckless. Yebetimi abwa nipa no a ye collapse omo banks no, so that we can resuscitate some of these banks. Na entimi emba bwa the financial sector. Otherwise, the last time I may check here, and this was done by Wankasa Unia Bernard Avile of City Media. Oh yeah, the 5 top banks in Ghana, none of them is a Ghanaian bank. So sir. None is a Ghanaian banks. The banks that are doing well. Why? Societe Generale, ABSA. Look, they listed the banks and you just realize that deliberately, Yekun banks na wahano. President Akufo-Addo, Ministry of Finance and Bank of Ghana, after collapsing all the banks, they formed a consolidated bank. If you check in the newspapers today, Consolidated Bank is making a loss in excess of 2 billion Ghana cedis. Should that one also be collapsed because they are making losses? Should that one be collapsed? So we should find a way to grow indigenous businesses. We should find a way to depoliticize the Ghanaian businessman. Every businessman will have friends. Just as some of my friends are in MPP. Some of my friends are in NDC. So why do you think that the Ghanaian businessman cannot have friends from the MPP or NDC and cannot support them? Because me and Kasaminia, the one who follows me, he feels he's MPP.
Is he an MPP or he feels?
He feels because I don't agree with him being MPP. But Odia Onimnu, and I mean Professor Mornah, he comes directly after me. Those who know him from the days he was the Legon Economic Students President know that he's MPP. So you mean that in his business he cannot support me because I don't belong to the MPP? And so people should target him because and that is what we have done to collapse many Ghanaian businesses. And I think that going forward, we should move away partisanship from the business environment.
All right.
And so we should find that newspaper, finally. 16 billion owed by government of Ghana to contractors. Nana Kumia, you know why I'm talking about contractors.
First of all,
when you owe contractors this amount of money, you have killed their businesses. You have killed some families. At the end of the day, you have killed banks. And that is why we have to think more nationalistic than thinking the parochial way we have taught in the Ajapadia document.
This FM 104.3, good to meet